people are under the impression that evolution takes thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And the perception that evolution is so slow is based upon perception, and it's based upon the intention of the evolution and the support system behind it. I think what people have an issue with as far as just what's going on in our current society is that they're not ready to take on evolution. Okay, I've evolved on such an exponential level since 2016. I've evolved to such a level that I didn't even expect. Which then begs the question, how long did man really evolve to what we are today? So yes, the reason why biotechnology exists, the reason why modern medicine exists is because they're trying to get man to evolve past their baser level instincts that you see on Maslow's rungs of self-actualization. Most people in our society who have not evolved are still stuck in the bottom two rungs. They're still stuck in procreation. They're still stuck in, looking for a home, still stuck in looking for a job, still stuck in finding relationships that are satisfying, still stuck in just very basic stuff. Google Maslow's ladder of self-actualization and look at the bottom two rungs. Now, as far as a self-actualized person, I don't think we actually really see it because it stops at a certain point, which is based upon the longevity of our society, and we haven't really seen true self-actualization. That actually takes time to be truly self-actualized. And so really the top of the pyramid should be more of like a deeper triangle with no point yet, because we haven't reached that pinnacle. And so now it's time to understand that maybe the jump in our technology and biotechnology speaks to how fast actually our government and the powers that be that do pull the strings have evolved way more than the current society, because it does take a certain transition point to get everybody on the same page. That's called change management. That's called business process reengineering. That's called organizational development. Is how do you evolve an organization that is so pitted with the dark ages types of mentality that to get people to understand it takes pain, it takes pressure, yes, to evolve not only one person, but groups and groups and groups of people who are in their own little factions, working from a very caveman type of existence. And so if you look at my Facebook page and you look at all the different links that I have to the discoveries between Neanderthals and Homo sapien and where that missing link is, probably has to do with outside entities coming in and helping us out somewhere to jump us to another level. Because really, when you think about America, we're only 300 years old, but then we are the grand experiment of what George Washington said, from the Freemasons over there in Great Britain, in London. When the resurgence of the Freemasons were in 1717, that's only a couple hundred years. A few hundred years. To where now, okay, they have all this esoteric knowledge, ancient knowledge. How do you apply that to a population that's still very, very, very caveman-like? That still runs in their little factions, their little groups of intolerance. And so the jelly juice actually can evolve you very, very quickly if you actually allow the evolution to take. You're not fighting it. Why people don't evolve very quickly? Because they keep fighting it. They keep suppressing it through the dark ages of holistic medicine that suppresses evolution. So you wonder why people don't evolve. You know why? Because they keep suppressing their own personal evolution, which, yes, has been preempted by the medical holistic industry, who is still in the dark ages. They understand the evolution, but they haven't figured out how to sustain the evolution. So that's the conflict that's going on. And then this is where the Jilly Juice comes in to support every rung of evolution as we keep creeping towards more advanced environment, such as the 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, and then, yes, the vaccinations and the viruses. So, It is what it is, but evolution does not have to take thousands and thousands of years. Evolution can happen in 4 or 5 years. It can happen even in one freaking moment. The fact that you're able to change your belief system, that's an evolution that is by far an example of someone evolving. When you actually can re-examine your own belief system and change it with behavioral changes. And so this is so interesting to watch. People fighting evolution. And so now I figured out my book. And now I got to go rewrite my introduction, rewrite parts of the chapter on the New World Order, and rewrite parts of the chapter of the Georgia Guidestones. And I understand why the powers that be want to do a grand reset. Because we have probably 99.999% of the population still stuck in the caveman mentality. Still stuck in the warring factions. Us versus them. Always us versus them. It doesn't have to be us versus them. But you'd have to change your biochemistry and change your belief system and actually evolve incrementally to understand that. And if you're not doing J-Juice and you don't see the possibility of evolution through facing your demons, yeah, you're going to go down with the ship like everybody else. So, I've had leaps and bounds just within this last weekend of evolution. It didn't have to take 500 years to get to where I'm at this point. But again, how is it that Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all these people are so evolved in one aspect of themselves, but yet they're still aging and degrading because they haven't conjoined both hemispheres? They understand on the front end how evolution has to happen, but they haven't figured out how to sustain on the back end except through genome manipulations that don't take very long. Well, that don't take and sustain in a stable manner. And so that's why there's a reset. Because yes, there are generations of people out there who've refused to evolve, that pass down the same intolerance, the same hatred towards other people and their belief systems, that you can't breed that out until you actually adjust the atmosphere to sustain only the strong. So I understand the connection between 5G, between the viruses, between the vaccines, and then Jilly Juice is there to support it with the food supply. And yes, your food's going to be biofortified, which means that yes, they figured out how to isolate every single amino acid, prohormone, every mineral, everything, and put it into a food that doesn't have to sustain an animal having to go through horror of being slaughtered. But that is another evolution that is going to take some time, because we do still have cavemen in our society. I'll still eat pork and I'll still eat beef and I'll still eat soy until the pork and the beef are not available anymore and it's all biofortified plant-based meats that will have still all of the necessary components to keep your DNA and your RNA going strong. But if you're not willing to evolve, there is no way you're going to survive the next world. And I'm trying to give you clues on how to do that. Some of you are fighting me. Some of you are fighting the system. You can't fight the system. You're not going to win, especially on your body that's been compromised with sustained anomalies that you don't want to fix and you don't want to help fix in your children. So there is a connection with the 5G, the viruses, and the vaccines. And then Jilly Juice is the missing link. No different than the missing link that people don't realize, the jump from Neanderthal to now modern man, and the jump in technology came from outside entities. But then the religious people who think everything is demonic will have a hard time with this information. I'm already getting it from people. That's demonic. You're Satan. You need Jesus. That's where Bill Gates is coming from with the whole God gene, trying to breed out the God gene, because that is when you are worshiping a person, place, or thing, you are now putting your power in someone else's hands. And then intolerance is then the inevitable. And when you have intolerance in generations of people, you will then have Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun, Julius Caesar, and all the different warring factions in the city-states back in the antiquity, as well as back in the Dark Ages, when people are doing horrific things to each other. And that's not an evolved society. That's a society that is now unraveling. So stay home, Stay safe. Do the J juice. Mind your business. Because yes, the Great Reset is in and people are going to unravel on their way out. And it's going to fucking suck. So, protect yourself. Protect your kids. Protect you. Don't stick your head in the sand and think this doesn't exist, because it does. And you better evolve to the levels of the 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G, and 9G. And stop fighting it. Because you're not going to win. Resistance is futile. So you better evolve with the system as well as the environment. If not, then yes. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Good luck, y'all. Bye.